Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we're going to be having the conversation, is the new Grand Theft Auto Online better, or is the old Grand Theft Auto Online better? Essentially, which version was better to play? The one in 2013 or the one we're experiencing now in 2018. So with the new year, there's been a lot of posts on either the GTA Online Reddit or the Grand Theft Auto forums. I'll leave a couple of the articles that I've seen in the description of this video, so if you want to contribute or check them out for yourself, you totally can. But it seems like a lot of people are comparing, once again, the version of Grand Theft Auto Online we have now versus the one we had 4 years ago. And that's the discussion we're going to be having today. We're going to be talking about the pros and the cons of each era and ultimately coming up with a final answer, which version is better. And also some discussion for the next Grand Theft Auto game as well, as I think what Rockstar is doing now in online is going to have an impact on what we see in the next game. So as always, when we do discussion-heavy videos like this, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments section down below. Let me know what your answer would be. Do you like the old Grand Theft Auto Online or the new one in which we're experiencing right now? So let's go back to the old Grand Theft Auto Online. I'm going to call this 2013 and 2014, and for the most part, 2015 as well, before Rockstar started to get pretty crazy with some of their stuff. So how about we do that? We'll do the first 3 years, 2013, 14, 15, and then compare it to 16, 17, and a little bit of 18 so far of what we've seen. So essentially, the old Grand Theft Auto Online was a whole lot more simple than what we experience today. Everyone would flock to random free mode events like armored trucks or high priority vehicles or crate drops. We lived in houses, apartments, and in the later stage, even yachts. Car races were done on the streets. The most dangerous player in the lobby was likely someone in a buzzard or a tank, and players drove around normal cars that you would see just in the city. It was a much more simple time, but that also meant the updates we got in the game were certainly more simple as well. Most DLC updates would consist of a couple vehicles, some new weapons, and some clothing, and that would be it. There wouldn't be anything else that Rockstar would add, and a lot of people at the time were satisfied with something like this. You also saw tremendous gaps between updates. Sometimes it would be 2 or 3 or sometimes even pushing 4 months before we saw a brand new update in online. Because of the lack of drip feeding, it would seem like a long time before those actual updates. Now, as far as online lobbies go, everything was a whole lot more peaceful. And that's one of the things due to the fact there just wasn't a whole lot you could use in order to completely dominate a lobby, unlike what there is right now. And probably the biggest argument that people are going to make for the old version of Grand Theft Auto Online is the DLC prices. At one point in time, the most expensive vehicle in Grand Theft Auto Online was $1 million, and that belonged to the Truffade Adder supercar. Now, in 2018, it cost $1 million just to get a sports classic vehicle that isn't even the best in its category. So you can really see how Rockstar has ultimately changed here and how their prices have differed from 2013 to 2018 as well. Now, let's jump to Grand Theft Auto Online right now, 2016, 2017, 2018. Instead of cars, we're flying around in bikes or Back to the Future style DeLoreans. We don't really have a need for tanks anymore. We have orbital cannons, amongst other things. Races, instead of being done on the streets, are done on floating tracks. Instead of living in houses, apartments, or yachts, we now live in CEO offices, bunkers, facilities, biker clubhouses. And now, instead of the random special events that happen in lobbies, players are too busy doing their own things to really participate in something like that. Now, I think the new Grand Theft Auto Online is certainly chock full of new content, and this is where I really think Rockstar started to, I guess, enhance Grand Theft Auto Online with a ton of major updates. So instead of updates just being filled with cars, vehicles, weapons, they brought new businesses to the game. They brought new adversary modes, new money-making opportunities. They added new features and upgrades and updates to the core game itself. So the updates became way more dynamic and advanced. Now with that, so did the price of many of the items in game. Whether it was properties, cars, clothing, or weapons, they all saw a significant bump when Rockstar sort of made that transition from the old Grand Theft Auto Online to the new Grand Theft Auto Online. So that was another thing that players seem to be not such a fan of. With all these tools and weapons and gadgets being added, we've also seen Grand Theft Auto Online free mode lobbies become incredibly complex and difficult to exist in. There's so many things you can use, so many routes you can take to interact with other players, and this can be a really good thing, but in many cases it can also be a really bad thing as well. So now let's sort of compare and let's talk about the arguments for both sides. So the old Grand Theft Auto Online, I will say, was a whole lot more peaceful, a little bit more enjoyable in terms of public lobbies. It was definitely a more simpler time. But I think if players were to go back to that old version of Grand Theft Auto Online right now, they'd get bored really quickly. With no motorcycle club objectives to do, with no CEO business to run, with no bunker to run guns for, with no facility to do a doomsday heist in, I feel like people would eventually get really bored with what wasn't in Grand Theft Auto Online in those early days, even if it was a more simple time. However, you could say that players would be able to enjoy content for a little bit more cheaper. They obviously wouldn't feel like they were stressed to consistently money grind in order to buy new content. And some pros and cons for the new version of Grand Theft Auto Online. Obviously, content is a plethora. We're getting new vehicles every single week, new content every week as well, with the addition of massive updates occurring 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times per year. So updates are not sparse, but on the opposite side of that, everything is incredibly expensive to the point where Grand Theft Auto Online is not really a game you play. It's something you do in order to get money, to then spend it, to then have to make the money again. It's almost like an endless cycle. And the Grand Theft Auto Online lobbies are completely chaotic. This version of Grand Theft Auto Online is almost nothing what we saw the original game. We have Tron bikes, flying bikes, Back to the Future DeLoreans, doomsday heist situations, jetpacks, orbital cannons. I mean, there is so much different in the last 2 or 3 years of Grand Theft Auto Online updates from the core base of the game that I think it has really changed Grand Theft Auto Online forever. And that brings me to the third point I want to talk about today. What about the next Grand Theft Auto game, GTA 6 or whatever it's going to be? I saw a comment that was, how can Rockstar go back to normal when what we've seen over the past 3 years has been flying bikes, jetpacks, flying cars, rocket boost stuff? If Rockstar doesn't add that at the start of GTA 6, people are going to be like, what the heck? What's going on here? Where's my rocket bike? Where's my rocket car? But it just seems like it's gone a little bit off the rails of what Grand Theft Auto typically was. And some people think this is a good thing. Others will think this is a bad thing. And unless in the next Grand Theft Auto game, Rockstar allows us to continue our Grand Theft Auto Online experience over. So for example, instead of making GTA Online 2.0, they just kind of merge over what we have in online and continue adding new content to that. It's going to be a real struggle for Rockstar to start off with basic normal things when in the previous version we had all these crazy stuff. So I'm not too sure what they're going to do, but I definitely know that what they're doing now is having a huge and significant impact on what we are going to see in the next GTA game. However, getting back to this version of Grand Theft Auto Online and GTA 5, which version is better? Now, while I have a very nostalgic feel for the 2013, 2014, and 2015 years of Grand Theft Auto Online, I feel like they were some of the best ever. I feel like even though things have gotten a little crazy and hectic and chaotic, the last 3 years have provided so much new content for us that it kind of makes it easier to ignore all the other faults in online. So for example, the prices and the craziness in the Grand Theft Auto Online lobbies. You just see all the new content we're getting for a game that's 4+ years out, and it's pretty remarkable. I will agree that I do think the game is changing into a direction that a lot of players might not be used to. Maybe they're used to seeing it in other games similar to GTA, whether it's Crackdown or Saints Row or something like that. All of the content they've added this year and over the last couple years is just insane. Now, I personally hope they go back to a more street-level GTA, not only in future titles like Grand Theft Auto 6, but also in future DLCs. I'm not sure if that's Rockstar's agenda, just because of the success they've seen on, all the recent content they've added. And maybe that's just me being optimistic. I'm really not too sure. But what I want to do is hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Which version of Grand Theft Auto Online did you like best? the old version of GTA Online that took place in 2013, 2014, 2015, or the newer version of Online that we've seen the last 3 years, 2016, 17, and 18, that's featured a bunch of crazy new content, but is also strayed away a little bit from, I would say, the core of Grand Theft Auto. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. Again, my personal thought is I think the new version is better, albeit I think the direction it's going is a little wacky for my personal taste. But like I said, let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comment section down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. We like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.